Hi everyone. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. So I was happy to see last week the project plans and how all of the groups are getting a good start with collaboration and planning approaches to collaboration and communication. So this week, groups will be getting started with drafting a section of the proposal together, and I know some of you have already started with that. So first, of course, if you have not yet responded to classmates on last week's discussion, remember to do that. So remember that discussion focused on analyzing a sample problem statement or problem need statement and then planning your own section. And so when you do respond to classmates, I do strongly recommend starting by responding to members of your own group. In some cases, that's going to be one other person or maybe two other people, and then you can respond to other groups as well. But that way, by starting out with your own group members, you can actually use the discussions to continue collaborating with them as you plan out your group section of the grant proposal. So if you do look ahead, you'll see that our future discussions in which we'll be analyzing a sample section of a proposal and then plan out your own section are very similar in structure to last week's discussion. So this is not only to help give some consistency to our approach to this part of the class, but it's also meant to help groups to collaborate better. So for instance, by each member of the group needing to plan out the section in their post, it can make sure that each member of the group is giving some contribution to that grant proposal process, to that planning process, and then the group can prepare its draft of that section, starting with what each group member prepared in the planning post. And of course, I know many of you are planning outside of that discussion activity through meetings and things like that. But that way we can use those discussions as part of that process. So for Wednesday of this week, a rough draft of your problem or need section will be due on Canvas. And most of you are working in groups, so this means that you and your group members will need to be collaborating on writing the draft. So then just one member of the group will need to submit the draft, but also include the names of other group members with that submission so that I and all of your classmates are reminded of who's in that group. And those of you who are doing a solo project with working with a different community partner will also need to submit a draft of the problem or need section. And we have this set up as a discussion board so that everyone in the class can see all of the drafts. I have it set so that you can see the drafts before posting. That way, if you're a member of a group who is not doing the posting, rather your group member is, you still will have access to all of the posts. But I think you will find it helpful to see how others are approaching their section of the proposal, even if it's focusing on a different program or working with a different community partner. So even though only one member of each group will be submitting the group's draft, each member of the group will need to complete reviews for others in the class. So we do have some specific instructions for what you should address in those peer reviews, including how many sentences you should write at a minimum for each part of the peer review. So we'll be taking a very similar approach with peer reviews on future sections of the grant proposal as well. So you can take a look at the instructions on Canvas. But I do hope the predictability of the next month or so as we work on the drafts will be helpful for everyone. And then, of course, your replies to classmates on those drafts will be due by Thursday night. So then as we work on the different parts of the grant proposal, with most of you collaborating in groups, we'll also continue having some occasional reflection. So at this point, we'll be doing those about every 2 weeks. So these will also be an opportunity for you to give me an individual update on how the class is going for you, how your work is going with your group, things like that. So our next reflection or update is kind of a reflection and update. It will be due Friday night, and it only needs to be a paragraph or two. It's very informal. You could even do a video update if you prefer to do that instead of writing text. But to go ahead and look on Canvas for all of the details about that. And then on Friday, we'll also start Module 5, which focuses on the problem narrative and objectives of a grant proposal. So on our lesson material page, we have my short mini lecture, and then our list of readings that you'll need to complete. And in particular, you'll be reading lessons 8 and 9, I believe, of our textbook, the only grant writing book you'll ever need. And then you'll need to explicitly reference some of our class readings in Friday's discussion activity. And it's very similar to last week's discussion. We'll be analyzing a sample and then plan your own. So for some of the samples we look at, you'll notice that we are looking at them in the context of the entire proposal sample. So I hope that will be helpful for you as we're considering individual sections of some of the same proposals, so you kind of get a sense of that. And of course, remember to reply to classmates on that by next Monday. So now that you're starting to write sections of the grant proposal, you'll also need to do additional research with your group. So as addressed in our class materials, some sections of a grant proposal will include additional research such as statistics, data, examples, things like that. Make sure that you're citing any sources that you use. Also remember that our library resources page can be very helpful for you with that kind of additional research. But you'll also probably find that you need more information that only our community partner will be able to give us. If you need more information from our community partner, Tidepool, you have questions, need clarification, things like that, then you want to make sure a representative of your group can go ahead and contact our community partner. Remember Kate Yerrigan as our contact for Tidepool. And remember that we do have the page on Canvas with Kate's contact information, her email there. I believe it's in the menu on the left is the community partner link there. And so feel free, of course, to carbon copy me onto any messages to Kate, or check with me about questions you have for them. And see, I'm getting along here, so I'll wrap this up. So we are now getting to about the halfway point of the semester. So by this point, I do hope you've gotten a good sense of the class, what's working for you, what might not be working for you, challenges you're running into. And of course, I'm always looking for feedback on what is and is not working, as well as any suggestions that you might have to improve the course. So I have created a short mid-course anonymous survey that it will just take you a few minutes to complete. It should be showing up for, I believe, due on Wednesday this week. You can double check the to-do list on Canvas. The anonymous survey consists of just 3 open-ended questions about your learning in the class. It is completely optional. It's not worth any class points, but I do appreciate you taking a few minutes to complete that. So as you get working on the grant proposal this week, let me know if you have any questions.